Yo, what's going on, guys? Today we are going to talk about the Glock. This is by far one of the most overpowered weapons in the game, while also being extremely underwhelming depending on the circumstance of when you have this weapon. It is going to be the T-side starter weapon. Those of you that are new to Counter-Strike, you are going to learn so much today, so strap yourself in, get your notebook out, subscribe to the channel, and let's talk about this gun. This is going to be the gun that you have to spend no money on. Now, if you somehow mess up and throw this thing out the map, of course, you can buy it for $200 here. But the first thing is there is never an instance, never a circumstance where you would ever buy it. So, you know, if you have a USP that you saved from the round prior or something, you're not buying it. Starter guns, never, ever, ever is that going to happen. But as far as ultimately the strategy we're trying to look at with this Glock, the go-to is going to be close range fights. Anytime you can get up in your opponent's face and get close to them, you are absolutely going to want to make that happen. The reason being, the Glock is actually going to one-shot your opponent if you're right up next to them. This close range ability is absolutely incredible because you just one tap, combined with the fact that the Glock actually allows you to have such a high movement speed. With this gun, you actually don't get punished while you're running and gunning. You're generally pretty accurate when you're moving, going left and right, holding W, jumping all around. So you'll see the best players in the game, they're actually really good at getting active while shooting with this thing. Also, the fact that it has 20 bullets means that you can spam it a lot. Generally, the pro strategy when it comes to running out and using the Glock is going to be going for the headshot first of all, right? We always want to go for headshots if we can in this game, if our opponents are at full HP. But then once we hit them minus 90, depending on the range, it'd be 99 to like 80. Super long range might even be like 70 to the head of the Glock. But once we get that first bullet connected, then we spam that thing as hard as we can to try to connect with the body, the bigger target, so that we can finish off the kill. I'm going to give you guys some pro secrets, tips, tricks, but first, we got to talk about how to get the best Glock skin like this one in the game.
This video is brought to you by Skins Monkey, the best CS2 trading site out there. Swap out your low quality skins for fresh new ones using all of their trade features. I love the filters that you can use to get the exact skin that you desire. I have personally used Skins Monkey to build my inventory over the years. Right now, use my code CoJo at the checkout for an insane 35% deposit bonus. The best part is that you will receive a $5 bonus by clicking the link in the description. Let's get back to the video.
All right, guys. So as far as like pro strats, what you're generally going to see on pistol round is wherever we're going, there's going to be smokes that cut off the long range fights. One of the most common things on B Mirage is going to be smoking off the market window and throwing some really good flashes over top so that the enemies are blinded. And it's not even about just making the enemies blind. It's making it so that while they're blind, we get to close the distance on them and take those long range fights to then turn them into very close range battles, right? Say, for example, someone is up here on Van, but you flash them off. Well, now they got to go reposition. While they're repositioning to stay alive, you're out here scaling on them and going crazy. Like we said earlier, you have to be active with the Glock. You can't sit there and try to take long range fights on people with the Glock because ultimately that is going to be a losing battle for you. That's a losing situation to be in. No, when you have this gun, you got to take advantage of that high movement speed. You got to jump out here and go crazy. You got to be flying all over the place and making it so hard to hit you. Because remember, guys, this is a team game. It's not just about you. A team of 5 Glocks is so scary because if one guy scales out and throws the crosshair off, the other Glocks can sit there and run them down from other directions and just put in so many bullets into them. So you'll see at the pro level, you're not going to really search with the Glock. You're not going to sit out here and like crouch peek and do stuff like this. Maybe if you have someone pinned and you know they're 1 HP, right? Like if I know someone's jail and he's 1 HP and he's probably going to have to swing me, of course, we might crouch and hold. There's always an exception to everything. But generally, high active movement speed is your go-to because you don't get punished for this. You get to run around and go crazy with it. On pistol round, it's extremely broken. It's very good. I would say, though, depending on what kind of fights you're trying to take, sometimes it's worth it to pick up the USPs on the ground and actually go crazy with it. Say I killed someone triple in the round and it goes into a 1v1 situation, and for whatever reason I know the last guy's cat. Well, I'm not going to take this fight at the Glock. No, I'm going to pick up the USP and then pick up that thing and sit here and try to duel the guy in cat. A lot of times that can be a surprising strategy and it really catches them off guard. So don't forget that you don't have to always just use the Glock. Now on CT side, I would pick it up if I knew my opponent was like on 1 HP. So I'm in a 1v1 situation. The guy with bomb got away and you know, there's Glocks on the ground. I can grab the Glock and then eventually go to market here and try to be very fast with my movement and run around and try to kill him. So there's a time on CT where you would actually pick up the Glock and utilize it. Now, the rounds that the Glock is really going to be awful is going to be on buy rounds for the other team and when we're on eco. So sometimes in this game, you're going to have to save, right? If you guys are beginners, you have to learn that. There's lots of guides on my channel teaching you when and what you should be buying. Just search up CoJoMo economy guide. all you have to know is that you don't really want the Glock, but if you are stuck with this because you literally can't buy anything, you want to save your money, again, what you have to do is understand close range fights are going to be your go-to. So anywhere you can get close range, you can group up, mob up together, and be that pack of hungry wolves. It's going to be very beneficial. In rare instances when I'm getting ran down, or I don't know if I'm going to be able to survive very long, you will put this thing in sports mode. Now, by sports mode, all I mean is you're right clicking and putting it in burst fire. It's just it's a little meme, and you can say that to people, and if they're like, yo, what do you mean by sports mode? Just tell them Kojo told you that. So that's where you got that from. I'm gonna do that if people are gonna swing me, and I think that maybe I can't like sit there and tap and tap because if they have head armor, guys, you got to realize even if you're accurate, you're probably still gonna die because the gun is really weak. So this little sports mode is gonna allow us to burst, boom, and it's kind of an art of like managing the spray with it. If you see, if you just keep your mouse like that, you see it's gonna be inaccurate, and especially at range, you would never do this. At range, it is awful. So only do this when you're close range, and it can almost be like a little bit of a shotgun. If you somehow can get the double dink with the burst, you're actually going to kill the enemy, and they're going to be so mad, they're going to rage. But ultimately, the pro strat when you have the Glock is doing aggressive plays with a smoke and flash. Take Mirage, for example. What we might do is we might throw the top mid smoke right here. Boom. And if I'm playing really aggressive opponents, which you guys are going to have in your Premier and matchmaking games, where they're sitting here just getting greedy on an eco round, right? They know we're an eco, and they're sitting here spamming, they're jumping out, going crazy. If I think they're in here, what we're actually going to do is a little pop flash play where I'm just going to go point, throw a flash, and then the pack of Glocks is going to run through here. And it doesn't matter how bad of a gun we have. If the enemy is blind, they're blind, and we can sit here and spam them down, go crazy with it, and it's ultimately just so good for us. Another thing with the Glock is it's surprisingly accurate when you're jumping. Now, obviously, no gun is going to be 100% right, but if you put it in burst mode and actually jump, sometimes you'd be surprised with the accuracy you have on it. See, like if someone's like close range and I can pepper them down, it can be pretty useful. But in general, that's another pro strat people are going to do specifically on pistol round. Now, round one, moving back again. A lot of times they're going to jump out backwards. Say my team strat was to run out mid here as 5. Well, if I'm the first guy, what I actually might do is sit here and run backwards. Now, obviously, this isn't just a Glock related strat, but this is going to make it incredibly difficult for him to headshot you, because when you're backwards, your headshot hitbox is actually tiny. So I don't know why it works like that. It just does, especially if you look down, your head's actually like your back is blocking it. You see, I have a big old head in real life, so I guess it doesn't make too much sense, but it's a cool little tip you can utilize. Other than that, guys, my biggest advice for you with the Glock is on gun rounds, right? On actual rounds where you're facing off against opponents and you're saving. I do anything I could to get a P250 or Tech 9 or Deagle if I can. Now, for saving, obviously that can't happen, but yeah, this has been your guide to using a Glock. Hopefully you learned something new. If you want to get coaching from me, I have a coaching website. You can book sessions. We can work through your gameplay, see what we can do to make you the best player possible. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Shout out to the YouTube members, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.